Recording.
All right, now calling the matter of State of Georgia versus Malik Evans, charged in warrant number 2024 WA 07093, theft by taking, and warrant number 2024 WA 07094, possession of a drug-related item. Representing the state is ADA Thomas. Representing the defendant is Attorney Lewis. Attorney Lewis, you wanted to make a motion?
Yes, Judge. Judge, with respect to defendant Malik Evans, we see charges subsumed in a warrantless arrest affidavit for theft by taking a vehicle and drug objects. With respect to the theft by taking vehicle charge, Judge, we find on our end that the warrantless arrest affidavit is defective according to OCGA 17441, in particular paragraph B thereof. And so we're asking the court to dismiss the charge of theft by taking vehicle as presently asserted by the officer and for which the defendant is being held in custody in the Clayton County Jail.
All right, so at this time, I am going to deny your motion. However, after the hearing, if I think the motion is premature, but after the hearing, if you would like to renew your motion, I will entertain it at that time.
Yes, Judge.
All right. So ADA, your witness.
Yes, ma'am. Officer Stenfield, can you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear and affirm that the evidence you shall give before the court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Put your hand down, state your name for the record.
Officer Kenny Stenfield with the Riverdale Police Department.
And Officer Stenfield, were you so employed on the 28th day of October 2024?
Yes, ma'am.
And on that date, were you on duty?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you come into contact or have an occasion to investigate a matter involving a Malik Evans?
Yes, ma'am.
And what brought you into contact with Mr. Evans, or what initiated the investigation?
So I responded to 7350 Highway 85 at the Quick Trip in Riverdale, Georgia, and the call was responded to a stolen vehicle.
Okay.
When I arrived on the scene, I met with the—
Hold on, I got one question for you.
Okay.
That incident location that you just cited, is that within the confines of Clayton County?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now what happened next?
So I met with the complainant and the victim, Miss Geraldine Ehimi. She stated that she arrived at the location at approximately 20:09 hours. She said she went inside the location to use the restroom, and after which after using the restroom, she went outside and noticed that her vehicle was missing. She stated that she left her vehicle unlocked, and also there's a spare key inside her vehicle. According to her, actually, Clayton County SO responded to the scene before me, and they stated that her vehicle was seen taken on video camera at the Quick Trip. Yes, ma'am.
Did she provide, you say the vehicle was on video at the Quick Trip?
Yes, ma'am.
And was the vehicle on video being stolen? Is that what you see on video?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, can you describe that vehicle?
The vehicle was a grand color Honda SUV with a Georgia tag of CXP.
Let's not do the tag because we're on.
Oh, my apologies. So sorry.
But no, that's fine. What was the description of the vehicle? What type of vehicle was it?
It was a grand color Honda. I think it's a CRV.
Okay. And that information was provided by who?
By the victim.
Is it Ehime?
Yeah, Miss Ehime.
Ehime. Okay. And she was on the scene.
Yeah, she was on the scene.
Did she give anybody permission or authority to remove her vehicle from that gas station while she was using the restaurant?
No, ma'am.
Okay, what happened next?
Then I was able to obtain camera footage through Quick Trip's camera, and it showed a male wearing black sweater and black pants going inside her vehicle at approximately 2018 hours, and then the vehicle leaving the parking lot at approximately 2020 hours.
And what did you say it showed a person? What did that person do? You just said it showed a person, and you say it showed the car leaving. What did the video show the person doing?
The person went inside the vehicle, and then after just left the parking lot with the vehicle.
Was there like a gap in time or anything? Like, or did they literally get in and go?
They got inside the vehicle at 2018 hours, and then 2 minutes later at 2020 hours, they left with the vehicle.
So 2 minutes later, they gone.
Yes, 2 minutes later.
Could you see the victim or the owner of the car anywhere near the car when it departed?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Does the video show her coming back outside to see that her car is gone?
I didn't get that far into the camera footage, but when I arrived at the location, she was inside the business.
And I think I just asked you this just to confirm. Did she give anyone permission to leave with her car?
No, ma'am.
And the portion that you saw the video, could you see or identify the person who got in and drove off?
Not at the moment. It was pretty dark at night. But again, the description was it was a male person wearing black sweater and black pants.
You said sweater?
Yes.
Top?
Yes, ma'am.
What happened next after viewing the video?
After viewing the video, Clayton County SO, because they were at the location before me, stated they located the vehicle through the flock safety camera system, heading eastbound on Roundtree Road.
Did you know what the gap in time was between the car leaving the Quick Trip and the flock camera picking it up?
No, ma'am.
Okay. And after the car was picked up on flock, what happened?
Clayton County SO stated that they were going to go see about the vehicle, go after the vehicle.
Was the vehicle stopped?
Yes, it was eventually stopped.
Did you go to the scene of the vehicle after it was stopped?
Yes, ma'am.
And what happened after that when you arrived at the scene?
So actually, before I headed to the scene, one of the officers that was working with me.
Objection, non-responsive to the question.
Go ahead and hold on, officer. Hold on. ADA Thomas, restate your question, please.
After you arrived at the scene, what happened next?
So arriving on the scene, we noticed the vehicle. And the victim, who was also there with me, stated that was her vehicle. She confirmed it was her vehicle. It was the same tag that was told by me.
So you took her with you when you responded to the scene?
I had another officer with me that took her to the scene.
Okay. Did you see the defendant at the scene?
The defendant was actually taken into custody by Clayton County SO at that time.
So he was gone by the time you got there with the victim?
He was inside one of the vehicles.
Oh, the sheriff vehicles.
Yeah, one of the sheriff vehicles.
Okay. Was the victim able to confirm that the vehicle that was recovered was in fact her vehicle?
Yes, ma'am.
Was she able to see the person that was that was being held by SO?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Did she know this person?
She didn't know this person.
Did she indicate whether or not she ever gave this person permission to take her car?
No, ma'am.
Did you see the person?
At this,
Did you go look at, huh?
Did I see the person when?
When the person was recovered, when you arrived at the scene?
Oh, yes, I saw the person.
You did?
When Clay County put him inside the vehicle. Was he,
You, you had opportunity to see the person?
yeah, when he was inside the vehicle.
Do you see that person on camera today?
Today?
Yes, do you see him? Can you see all the different little screens on Zoom?
No, let me see. Yes, yeah, I can see him. Yes, that's the person that was in the vehicle.
Describe the person you're talking about.
He had dreads. He's African American. He had a beard.
Anything distinctive about what he's wearing?
Besides the inmate uniform, no, ma'am.
What color is the uniform?
I think it's red from what I could see on the camera.
This is the person that you saw that was taken into custody driving the victim's car?
Yes.
Objection, assumes facts not in evidence.
Say that, I couldn't hear you. Say that again.
I said objection, assumes facts not in evidence. This witness is not testified to seeing anyone driving a car.
Your Honor, the officer testified that the individual that the defendant was stopped based on a flock hit. So based on that information, he arrived at the scene where the person was being held in custody. So we know that this is the person that was detained based on the flock hit after their car was stopped.
Okay, all right. So, objection is overruled.
Thank you, Your Honor. Is this the person that you saw on the scene that was stopped based on the flock hit?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, officer. Your Honor, 1 second. Make sure I'm doing this one. Who took the person to jail?
That was me, ma'am.
You did?
Yes.
Okay. Now, when he arrived at the jail, was he searched?
By Clay County intake.
Okay. And during that search, was anything discovered or found?
So one of the intake officers was able to locate what believed to be a crack pipe inside his pants pocket.
And when you say crack pipe, what are we talking about? What does this object look like?
It's like from what I could describe, it's like a bowl that people use to smoke. It's pretty small. It's a pretty small bowl with a circular at the bottom. From what I could describe, yeah.
Was it metal, glass, or could you tell?
Probably plastic or glass. Not glass. It was plastic. It was glass.
But it was found on his person?
Yes, it was found on his person.
And have you seen something like that before?
Yes. Yeah, actually I have.
What happened to that object, or do you know?
I placed it into evidence at my department.
Was there a charge placed because of that?
Yes, ma'am.
What was that?
Possession of a drug-related object.
Okay. Did the defendant make any statements to you at any point in time during this crime? Or did he let me rephrase the question. Did the defendant make any statements to you or any other law enforcement officers that you know?
No, ma'am. When taking him to custody, no, ma'am.
He didn't say anything about the car?
From what I remember, he stated that he was not inside the vehicle. He was trying to deny he was inside the vehicle.
But SO recovered the car with him driving it?
That's affirmative.
You didn't see you didn't see him being stopped though, right?
No, ma'am.
Okay. The little object that was recovered, did it have anything in it?
It probably, from what I remember, it looked like old residue. Like it hasn't been used probably in a while, but it just looked like old residue. from what I can see.
You say old residue? Is that what you
Like,
said?
yes, like residue, like it was used before, but probably not in a while per se.
And when you say used, what type of residue are we talking about, or do you know?
Um, I'm I don't know, but it was used because it didn't look new. It looked like it was used.
One second, Your Honor. I think I'm done. I just need to make sure I miss nothing. What happened to the car after the clock hit? After it was stopped?
After the stop, uh,
Yes.
so from what Clayton County SO told me, they stopped the vehicle. They took Mr. Evans into custody, and that's when I was radioed that they recovered the vehicle, and that's when I arrived at the location.
Was the car given back to the victim?
Yes, ma'am.
And you said it was a gray Honda CRV?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you know the year?
Uh, mm,
You don't know, that's fine. Do you know it though?
I don't know at the top of my head. I have to go back on my report.
Okay. But the description you're pretty positive about?
Yes, I'm positive.
Yeah, I believe that's all I have. A reserved right to redirect.
All righty. Cross?
Yes, please, Judge. Thank you. Good afternoon, officer.
Good afternoon.
Your first name again was Kenny, Kenn.
YKNNY.
And your last name again was what, sir?
Stinfil, STINFIL.
Thank you, Officer Stenfield. And you are patrolman, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I want to make sure I wasn't depriving you of sergeant or lieutenant or corporal or any of that stuff. All right, let's talk a little bit about you personally with respect to this case. When you arrived on the scene, did you have a body cam, sir?
Yes, sir.
Was it operable?
Yes, sir.
And following the closeout of this case, did you label that body cam footage?
Yes, sir.
And that is now preserved for evidence. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
You were accompanied by another officer to the scene. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Who was that officer?
Her name is Officer Crockett of Riverdale Police Department.
Is Officer Crockett a male or female?
Female.
Okay. And is Officer Crockett a patrolman also?
Yes, sir.
Officer Crockett have her camera enabled, sir, her body cam?
Yes, sir. Her body camera was
Yes.
operable.
Yes, sir. And are you considered the lead officer in this case, sir?
Yes, sir.
And did you verify the preservation of her body cam footage following the closeout of this case?
No, sir.
Okay. Do you know if it's been preserved? Or did she recount to you that it's been preserved?
No, sir.
All right, got it. That's good. And were there any other officers that accompanied you to this call out, sir?
There was only me and her going to the location.
Yes, sir. And then prior to your arrival on location, you said Clayton County Sheriff's was there. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Which Clayton County Sheriff's officers did you deal with, officer?
I don't remember my name.
Was it one or more than one?
There was more than one.
All right. Now, after you left scene at the original scene and went to the flock scene, do you encounter those same Clayton County officers or different ones?
Um, I remember the one that was at the initial location. That
Okay.
that was over there.
Okay, so you do remember that one.
But I don't remember him by name.
Don't remember my name. And then and then when you get to the second location, is that same officer, sheriff's officer, at the flock location?
No, at the location that they had to stop at.
Okay.
Initiated the stop.
I'm sorry, say it again for me.
The location that they initiated the stop.
Yes, that's the one I'm talking about. Was the same officer that you saw at the gas station at the location of the stop?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now I heard you to say that you believed it was a CRV. Is that correct, sir?
Yes, sir.
Do you know if it was a CRV or you just believe that it was?
From what I remember, I believe it was a CRV, but I have to go back on my report. If
Okay. Officer, let me ask you another question. You looked at the video at the gas station, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And that video, did it allow you to actually see the person who entered the automobile?
I did see someone enter the automobile.
You saw someone, but you don't know if that someone, who that someone is. Is that correct?
Correct, sir.
Uh-huh. And I believe you said that the lighting was bad there. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. It was at nighttime and it was dark.
Yes. Yes, sir. And I heard you to say that you saw the person enter the automobile at 2018 is 100 hours. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
All right. And that's 8:18 Eastern time for non-law enforcement and military people, right?
Correct, sir.
All right, great. And then I heard you to say that the vehicle left the property at 2020 hours. Is that right?
Correct, sir.
And that's again 8:20 Eastern time for all of us regular people, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, cool. Now, at the time that you saw the vehicle leave the property, were you able to see the figure inside the vehicle?
The figure, no, sir.
Okay, so you could not see the person who is in the car when the car leaves. You just see the car leave. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And I understood you to say you didn't watch everything about this video, correct? You saw the person enter the automobile and you saw the car leave the property. Those are the things you saw, correct?
After the person went inside the automobile,
Yes, sir.
the automobile left the property.
Yes, sir.
The person
But that wasn't my question, though.
Go ahead.
So my question was that you did not watch this entire video and everything related to this. You saw the person go into the automobile, and you saw the automobile leave the property. Is that right?
Not really, sir.
Okay, well, let me go back and ask you questions then that Madam Prosecutor asked you. Did you see the victim, the lady who is claiming to be the victim, did you see that person after the car left the property?
On camera or when I arrived on scene?
On camera, sir. After the car left the property. Yes, sir.
No, I did not see. No, I did not
Okay.
see.
Did you see that person who's claiming to be the victim between 2018 hours and 2020 hours?
No, sir, not on camera.
Did you see that person prior to 2018 on the video?
No, no, sir.
Did you see that person at any point in time get out of the vehicle?
No, sir.
Did you see any other persons enter into the vehicle or get out of the vehicle?
On camera?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, at 2018 hour.
Yes, sir. All right. So there's one person that you saw there. But what about when she showed up? Did you see anybody else get out of the vehicle?
No, sir.
Okay. Did you see anyone around the vehicle?
At around the time it was taken off the property,
Yes, sir.
besides that one person that I saw on camera,
At 2018 to 2020 hours. We got one person there. Did you see anybody else?
no, sir.
So this gas station had no other persons in camera frame at the time that this vehicle is being taken. Is that right?
On that specific angle, sir, no, because it was only her vehicle that was parked at that spot.
All right, good. And then let's now go over to the flock system. You have described very generally the flock system. Does the flock system identify people?
No, it identifies vehicles.
And how does it identify vehicles, officer?
It identified vehicles by their Georgia state tag.
By their tag numbers. And so when you say that the vehicle is identified on flock, you mean exactly what you said, right? That the tag is being identified by the flock system. Is that correct?
That's affirmative.
Okay. And then you are not the one that catches the flock. It's actually Clayton County Sheriff's Office that catches the flock. Is that correct?
That's correct, sir.
Is it the same sheriff's officer that you encountered at the gas station that identifies the flock hit?
Yes, sir.
All right, great. So that sheriff's officer has left you and is no longer at the gas station. Is that correct?
Correct, sir.
He left you at the gas station, you and your other female officer from your agency, correct?
Correct, sir.
All right. And when that sheriff's officer got to the flock location, did he say that the car was still actively being driven?
Not, we never discussed that.
I didn't believe that you did, officer. And the reason why I asked you the question is in one case you told me that told the court that the vehicle was stopped. And
Yeah,
then
I'm gonna object at this time. I'm not sure where Attorney Lewis is going with this, and I'm not sure if it's a question, a narrative, or a lecture.
All right, so Attorney Lewis, if you would just rephrase your question so that we all can understand what the question actually is, please.
yes, ma'am, it's a yes or no question.
All right, we'll go
And
ahead
so
and restate it.
Yes, ma'am. And your testimony to the court is that when you arrived on scene where the car had been stopped, it was stopped, right?
Yes, sir.
It was not still being driven. Is that correct?
Correct, sir.
Okay. And at the time that you arrived on scene, there was no occupant in the car. Is that correct?
No, sir.
Okay. In fact, the person who you ended up transporting was in a sheriff's vehicle. Is that correct?
Correct, sir.
And it is my understanding, but you correct us if we're wrong, that no one observed this person at any time prior to the flock hit driving the car. That's correct?
Can you read?
Prior to your arrival on scene, no one observed this person driving this car from the gas station where it was taken. Is that correct?
Correct, sir.
Okay. And when you got on scene, no officer, whether they're sheriffs or police or trooper or agent, has said to you anything about this person having driven the car from the gas station. Is that correct?
Can you rephrase that? Can you read?
Yes, yes, sir, I can. During this case, everything that you've done with respect to this case, up until today, no sheriff's deputy, no police officer, no agent of the federal government agency, any agency of the federal government or state trooper has said that they observed this individual driving this automobile from the gas station. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Now, let's talk about the state of the car that you encountered when you arrived at the location. Did you examine the interior of the car?
Yes, sir.
Wonderful. Did you find that the ignition switch was broken?
Uh, no, sir.
Okay. Did you find that any of the steering column wires were available or stripped?
No, sir.
Did you find a key in the ignition?
No, sir.
Mhm. Did you find the spare key that the young lady said, or I don't know if the young lady said it, but you said it. Did you find the spare key that you talked about earlier in the car?
No, sir.
Okay. So did you when you searched, or let me just ask you, did you search the person that the sheriff had in their possession?
No, sir.
Did you receive an inventory log from any of the sheriffs about them having searched and recovered anything from the person that they had in their car?
No, sir.
Okay. All right. And you released the automobile back to the person who identified herself as the possessor of the car. Is that right?
That's correct, sir.
All right. And do you recall what she did specifically when taking the car away from the scene?
Um, we weren't, I didn't see her take the car, leave the scene with the vehicle because we were transporting Mr. Evans.
All right. So she was still on the scene at the time that you left the scene.
Yes, sir.
All right. And you did not see her start the car up or drive it anywhere,
He, she,
sir?
she did possess the key to the vehicle.
Okay, that's great. Did you see her start the car up or drive the car anywhere?
No, sir.
You know that she had a key, is that right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Officer, are you familiar with CRVs?
The Honda SUV, the Honda CRV, no, sir, I'm not.
You're not. So you don't know on a CRV if a key is required to be put into the ignition in order for the car to start.
Correct, sir.
Okay. All right. When you transported the person that the sheriffs arrested back to the Clayton County Jail, is that correct?
Yes, I was the one that transported
Mhm.
the person that they took in custody.
Prior to transporting the person to the Clayton County Jail, meaning after you're taking possession of them from the sheriff's office, deputy or officer, did you search the person?
No, sir.
So you took it on faith that they had searched the person. Is that correct?
Correct, sir.
Mhm. And when you got the person to the jail before turning the person over to the jail staff, did you search the person?
No, sir.
Did the jail staff search the person in your presence?
No, sir.
The jail staff then came back to you and said that they had located what?
What they believe was a cracked pipe.
What they believed was a crack pipe.
Mhm.
And who was that person with the jail that came back and told you that they believed they found a crack pipe?
It was an intake officer. I don't remember his name.
Did you say his or her?
It was a male intake officer.
Okay. Where did the intake officer say he from the defendant retrieved a crack pipe?
It was inside his pants pocket.
His pants pocket. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
What kind of pants did this person have on that you transported?
From what I remember, it was black. It was either black sweatpants or black jeans. I'm not entirely too sure.
I got you. All right. And when you observed this thing that you call a crack pipe, how large was it?
It was it was not large. It was probably like a good 2-3 inches.
About 2 or 3 inches long.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And how many inches wide?
I don't have a I don't know, sir.
All right. And in what pants pocket did the jail person, intake person, say they got this pipe from?
They didn't specify.
Okay. Were the jeans or sweatpants that the individual you transported worn loosely, or were they fitted?
They were fitted.
They were fitted. All right. So inside, according to the intake officer, inside of these fitted jeans or sweatpants that are not loose is a 2 to 3 inch crack pipe that you missed observing and the sheriff's missed observing. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. And inside of this pipe, you said was a residue. Is that correct?
Correct, sir.
All right. And you did not submit this residue for analysis. Is that correct?
No, sir.
All right. And are you able to distinguish burnt crack from burnt any other substance, officer?
I didn't state it was burnt crack.
I know you didn't. I'm asking you a question. Are you able to distinguish burnt crack from burnt anything else?
No, sir.
All right. And help us all with this, officer. What is this, a homemade device or is it commercially purchased?
I wouldn't know that, sir.
All right. So you're not familiar with the pipes that they sell at the gas stations?
Well, I'm gonna say I've never seen it before.
Are you saying you don't want to say that, or are you saying you have seen it before?
Yeah, I've seen it before.
You have seen it before.
Yes, sir.
And those pipes that are sold at the gas stations, are those the kinds of things that maybe you recovered from this intake worker? Is that the kind of thing you recovered from the intake worker, the jail officer?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. All right. Officer, I heard Madam Prosecutor ask you a question if the defendant had made any statements, and I heard your answer to be no. Did I hear correctly?
I stated to her that he denied being inside the vehicle.
Okay, he denied being inside the vehicle. Very good. And I also did not hear that you asked any questions of him. Did you ask any questions of him?
During me taking him into custody.
Yes.
No, sir, I didn't ask him any questions.
Okay. You simply, your activity from the point in time that you take him from the sheriff's office is to exchange handcuffs. Is that right? You put your cuffs on him and let the sheriffs keep theirs?
Are you asking, did I take him?
I'm asking. Yes, sir.
Attorney Lewis, please let him answer. You're kind of speaking over him. Go ahead and please let him finish his answer. Go ahead, sir.
If you're stating that the Clayton County SO transferred custody to me, yes, sir.
No, that's not what I was asking. The question I asked is, did you put your cuffs onto this person, or did he continue on in the Clayton County Sheriff's Office handcuffs?
No, I put my handcuffs on.
Okay. And then once you put yours on, Clayton County removed theirs. Is that correct?
Correct, sir.
Okay. And then he remained in those handcuffs from the point in time that you retrieved him from them all the way until you tender him over to the intake personnel at the Clayton County Jail. Is that correct?
Correct, sir.
Okay. Thank you, officer.
Is that it, Attorney Lewis?
It is.
Oh, okay. Any redirect?
Hopefully very briefly, Your Honor. Officer, if I'm not mistaken, you did indicate the victim, when she left her car to use the restroom, she left her car unlocked,
Yes, ma'am.
and she indicated that she left a key hidden in the car.
Yes, spare key.
A spare key was hidden in the car,
Yes, ma'am.
so anyone could get in the car.
Yes, ma'am.
Anyone could drive off with it.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, let's go to the scene of the flock stop. Is that what they're called?
At the scene of the stop, the flock safety hit on Roundtree Road, but the stop was at a different location.
Okay, let's back up for a few seconds. You say right down the street?
From on Roundtree Road, yes, that's where the vehicle was seen in driving.
Roundtree Street is within close proximity of the QT?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you know about how far away?
From the flock hit, no, ma'am.
You just know it's within proximity. No, not from the flock hit. I'm sorry. From where the car was stopped.
Oh no, the car was stopped at a different location.
I got that, but what is the proximity to the Quick Trip?
From where the car was stopped?
From where the car stopped to the Quick Trip, yes.
Probably 10, 15 minutes.
So not that far.
Not really.
Okay. And the person that was found in the car by the sheriff's department, let me backtrack. The person that you saw being detained at the scene is the person that, is your understanding, was the one that was operating the vehicle when it was stopped?
Yes, ma'am.
And I believe defense counsel might have addressed the issue of what the gentleman was wearing, but on the video that you observed, what did you say the person was wearing?
A black sweater and black pants.
The person that you observed at the scene of the flock stop, do you recall what they had on?
Yes, ma'am.
What was that?
Black sweater and black pants.
Okay. So from what you can tell, did they match what you saw on the video?
Yes.
And the only thing he said is that he wasn't in the car? Did I write that down right?
From when I arrived at the location, Clayton County already took the male into custody.
Okay. Now, is it your understanding that the sheriff's department maybe has searched him already? Or do you know?
From what I thought, yes, I thought they searched him already.
You did not search him separately?
No, ma'am. Because, can I explain the reason? So when custody was transferred, Mr. Evans became very aggressive, and we had to put him inside the vehicle, and he was still being very aggressive. He was yelling, trying to resist a little, trying to not go, but he was very aggressive as I was putting him inside the vehicle, and also at the jail as well.
You say he was very aggressive?
Yes, ma'am.
To you?
As soon as I put him into custody, he was resisting going inside the vehicle.
You didn't charge him with that?
No, ma'am, I did not.
Okay. Yeah, that's all I have.
All righty, closing arguments.
Recross, Judge.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Officer, when you said that he was being aggressive and resisting, he was his resistance in the character of a person who believes he's being wrongfully arrested?
I don't know what's on his mind, sir.
Okay, gotcha. That's good enough. And then, officer, you talked about the flock hit being a different place than the actual stop. Where was the actual stop?
The address was um, the address was 10543 Terra Boulevard.
10543, so 10543 Tower Boulevard. Is that correct?
Correct, sir.
And Madam Prosecutor asked you about distances. So let me just clarify this as she tried to do. The place where you encounter the detained person by the sheriff's department, is that place the 10 or 15 minutes away
From where?
from the QT? I'm sorry, I wasn't clear.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and the flock hit is in that general location, around that general location?
The flock hit that at that point in time, no, sir, it's not.
Okay, where the flock is that the flock hit within 15 minutes of the QT?
I don't know the proximity of minutes.
Okay. Well, what do you know? Because her first question to you was where it was, and you described it in minutes. So the flock hit, how would you describe it? How far away from the QT was the flock hit?
It was I don't know the exact time of how far of the distance, but if we talk about proximity, it was not too far.
Okay. It is the flock hit in a direct line from where the person is when you arrive and they've been detained in the QT. Does it fit in a straight line?
I will say from the route he would take, you could take Roundtree Road to get onto 138 to get onto Terra Boulevard. My fault, Highway 138 to get onto Terra Boulevard. So if he was going that direction of travel, that would be the direction of travel he would have been going.
Okay, so if the same person that is detained has left the QT, they would need to take Roundtree Road in order to get to Terra Boulevard. Is that a correct statement?
That is a route that you could take to go onto Highway 138, and then Highway 138 would lead to Terra Boulevard.
Okay. Is that a direct route, sir, or is that a circuitous route?
Can you be more specific about that?
Yes, sir. Is the route that you're describing he could have taken a direct route to get to Terra Boulevard, or could he if he is in fact the driver from the QT to Terra Boulevard, this would be a straight line route to get to Terra Boulevard. Is that correct?
There's different other routes you could take to get onto Terra Boulevard.
That's not my question, officer. My question is very specific. Is this the most direct route to get from the QT to Terra Boulevard?
No, sir.
Okay. All right, but you have already testified that it is a possibility. It's a way he could have gone.
Yes, sir.
All right. And there are a lot of other ways that he could have gone too, correct?
To the stop location, yes, sir.
Yes, sir. And in fact, there is a more direct route from the QT to Terra Boulevard if in fact he is the driver. Is that correct?
What do you mean?
Okay, I'm going to stop you right there, Attorney. I think you're going way. I don't understand the relevance of what you're asking now.
Sure, Judge. I'll explain it to you. The person that the officer has received from the sheriff's department says that he is not in the car. And so if we assume that the person, and I'm being very liberal here,
Well,
if we assume that the person is
hold on.
coming.
Even before that, your cross recross was limited to the questions that Attorney Thomas, ADA Thomas asked.
Yes.
I think you're
And
going outside of that.
I don't believe so, Judge. What ADA Thomas asked is a question about the nearness and proximity of the flock location to the actual QT. The officer described it in minutes. And
Okay.
then there was a question about the stop location. This is when I find out that the stop location is not the flock location. And so I went back to clarify the relationship between the two, which is exactly what ADA Thomas was trying to do.
No, that's not what I was trying to do, Your Honor.
Well, that's what she said, Judge.
For purposes of clarification, Your Honor.
Huh? I know what you asked, but go ahead and clarify.
Testimony that the stop location and the flock hit were not the same. He said that during my initial direct examination, he established that, because I then asked him what was the proximity between the two, and he indicated he did not know. He just knows that there was a flock hit and then there was a stop based on that flock hit, and they were not in the same place, because I initially assumed that they were in the same place and they were not. So he did that up front about, I guess, 30 minutes ago.
Okay. So you have to move on, Attorney Lewis. I don't agree with you.
I'm done, Judge. Thank you.
All righty. Closing arguments. ADA Thomas.
Yeah, I'll reserve.
All right, go ahead, Attorney Lewis.
All right, Judge. So I'm going to return back to my original motion to dismiss this matter, Judge, under 17-441. And now I'm going to be very specific. 17-441, paragraph B, subs 1 and 2, talk about the description that is to be given. So here we have the officer who has now testified that it was probably a CRV. That same code section requires for the warrantless arrest affidavit or a warrant to also state the value. And there has been no testimony whatsoever, even though I don't believe it was necessary for us to get to this point. But even after getting to this point, there's been no testimony as to value whatsoever by the only witness that has come before this court. That is part number one. Part number two, Judge, there is a claim that there is a theft by taking that has occurred by this particular individual. Judge, this officer, even looking at the video, can't see this individual that is related to this car. This officer doesn't see the individual who is arrested later on as a person having driven a car away from the QT gas station. He does see the car leave the gas station. He does see the person at the car, but he sees it 2 minutes beforehand. He doesn't see it at the time. And in fact, in that 2 minutes, he says he sees no one else in the frame of the camera angle that he is seeing, specifically the camera angle that he was seeing. There's been no testimony about any other angle. In fact, he doesn't even see the owner, the purported owner or possessor, whatever this young lady is. There's a great deal of testimony about keys. She has a key, and there's another key in the car. It's somewhere, but no one has testified as to a key being needed, a key being removed from anywhere, a key being found on the a person who is arrested by Clayton County Sheriff's Office. The part that really gets me, Judge, is I don't know if anybody ever searched this person that the Clayton County Sheriff's Office has detained, because according to the police officer, if the intake worker is to be believed, this person has a pipe that is in their pants pocket that the officer doesn't see, although he says that the pants that are worn by the individual are fitted, not loose. And the sheriff's department doesn't see, although they're the ones who have put this person in handcuffs in the car. So in other words, by just, I believe, a small inference, no pat-down search was done. But even when the intake people search, they don't discover a key either. This car isn't damaged in any way. shape, form, or fashion. And in fact, we don't even know if the key that the purported victim has works in the car, because this officer wasn't there when the car was taken by the purported victim, and no one has testified as to how the purported victim got the car from the location, because this officer, this testifying witness, left before it happens. So I would submit to you, Your Honor, that without something from a more reliable source, you don't know who this lady is related to this car, other than the fact that she has called the police at some point in time and said that a car has been taken. This officer never saw her in relationship to this car. And so I would submit to you, for the reasons set forth in OCGA 17441, which require in theft cases, as one of the elements present in a warrantless arrest affidavit, that a value statement be given as to the value, along with a particularized description of the item that is stolen, that this matter against this defendant with respect to the charge of theft be dismissed. Because in the warrantless arrest affidavit, it doesn't talk about a CRV. It doesn't talk about a color. It just says a vehicle. And so it's defective. With respect to the crack pipe, I made a mistake, Judge. The mistake I made during the cross-examination is I attributed the crack pipe statement to this officer, and he very quickly corrected me. He didn't say it was a crack pipe. What he has said is that an intake worker told him that it was a crack pipe. He says that there was some residue in the pipe, that it was not recently used, doesn't know what it is, and that the pipe that he saw given to him by the jail intake worker resembles commercially available pipes that people purchase out of gas stations. And I would submit to you, Judge, that in this state, we don't have gas stations selling crack pipes. We have them selling tobacco pipes, water pipes, and a whole bunch of other stuff, but not crack pipes. And so, since we have no assessment made by anyone as to what is this residue inside, and in fact, the officer says he couldn't distinguish one way or another what this residue is, and since I don't believe that this officer missed seeing a pipe on this closely worn clothing, and I don't believe that the sheriff's office missed seeing a pipe on this closely worn pants wearing person, that there wasn't a pipe, Judge. But if it wasn't, it ain't a drug object. If it was on him, it is a commercially available thing that could have been purchased at any old gas station in this state. And so I would ask the court to dismiss all of the charges. The first, the theft, because 17441 says they should be. And the second, because we don't sell crack pipes in the gas station. Thank you.
All righty, go ahead, ADA Thomas. I'm sorry, you're muted.
Yeah, I am so sorry. I've been calling folks while we've been doing this, but in any case,
Okay.
State would stand on the testimony of the officer who was able to clearly testify that the victim called after realizing her vehicle was gone, that the description that he observed on QT's camera was in fact the same attire that the defendant was wearing when the victim was recovered after the vehicle was placed on the flock system, that the vehicle was stopped approximately 15 minutes or so from the initial incident location, which was the QT, and that that what was described as a drug object was found on his person after he was booked into the jail. Your Honor, I will state just very briefly that many cars today do not require you to use a key in the ignition. As long as there is a key in the car, you can drive off with it. You may never have that key on your person. What is important is that that key has to remain in the car. So it is not unusual for him to have been found without having the key in his possession, because he would not have needed it to operate the vehicle itself. So based on that, state would ask the court to transfer this case to the Superior Court.
All righty. So first, I would like to address the motion to dismiss. And so that motion is denied. Although the statute is clear, there's always case law. And what I found was that the following verbiage or case. This court indicated that an arrest warrant can be valid even if the bare language of the affidavit or the warrant fails to meet the probable cause, so long as the judge is provided with sufficient information to reach an independent determination that probable cause exists. And so that is, and I can give you that if you want to look at that a little later.
Yes, Judge.
That is Williams versus State, and that is 298 GA 538, and that's a 2016 case.
I'm sorry, 298 GA
538, and that's a 2016 case.
(538) 2016.
Yes, 53. Yes.
Okay, got
All
it, Judge.
So that is denied, and so I do find that there is sufficient probable cause to bind both of the charges over to the state court. Superior Court, Clayton County. That's the order of the court. All right.
Judge,
Yes.
I'm looking at Williams v. State.